The World Cup is now over, which means it is time to find out just how badly I got my predictions wrong. In case you're unaware, before the tournament started, I predicted everything from the group stages all the way to the final. So, I thought it would be fun if we went back to see just how badly I did. So let's get into it. Well, I don't know about you, but I think it is lovely when the first thing you see is my beautiful face. Also, before we've even started, can I just point out that I am wearing the exact same clothes as I was wearing on that day. Funny how life is sometimes. Hey guys, it's Liam here and welcome back to another video. With the World Cup set to kick off, I thought it would be a fun idea to predict the entire World Cup. So watch until the end of the video to see how I pick and let me know what you think in the comments below, and why not like and subscribe while you're down there. I agree. Like and subscribe while you're there. It really helps out the channel. So let's get started. We will start at the very beginning. Holy crap, I don't know if you can see it for you, but for me the focus is horrid. Beginning, because it is a very good place to start. I do agree though, the beginning is a very good place to start. And that is with Group A. We have Mexico, Korea, South Africa and Czechia. So Mexico, Korea, South Africa, Czechia. While I think Son Heung-min is getting older, Korea are still one of Asia's strongest teams. Well, if they are still one of Asia's strongest teams, boy did they not prove it at all in this World Cup. Because, quite literally, they won one game out of the three of them. They beat Czechia 2-1, then lost 1-0 to Mexico, then lost 1-0 to South Africa. So they ended up getting grouped. I'm pretty sure everyone thought South Korea would do a whole lot better. And so that is why I think Korea will probably top the group. There you go. So things have started off swell for me, it seems. Mexico, I think being one of the host nations will definitely help them. And with the likes of Santiago Jimenez, Raul Jimenez, Edson Alvarez and Guillermo Ochoa, that should make Mexico a proper threat. However, I do think they're slightly overrated because of the home advantage. But I've still got them. Again, that's... no. That is just no. I can't believe I said that. Mexico is slightly overrated. I think they were perfectly rated because they were actually a really good team in the World Cup. And they only went out after losing to England in the last 16. In third place, I've gone with South Africa. Their team's athletic, organised, and difficult to break down, but I don't think they have enough attacking quality to consistently pick up wins. I mean, I wasn't that far off, I feel. Well, after the first game, I thought I was actually quite right, given the fact that South Africa got 2 red cards and they left a lot to be desired. So, I'll kind of take that as a W. So that's what we'll do with Group A. Oh, but the only problem is, I predicted it to be South Korea, Mexico, South Africa and the Czech Republic. And if I check my results, Group A finished Mexico, South Africa, South Korea and Czechia. I got Czechia right. And that was it. So 1 out of 3 for Group 1. Okay, so now we move on to Group B. Moving on to Group B, we have Canada, Switzerland, Qatar and Bosnia. I think this is fairly straightforward, really. I think Switzerland will probably top the group. I think it was fairly straightforward as well, actually. Apart from maybe Canada, I don't think there is much of a challenge for Switzerland in this group. They're organised, they're experienced. That's fair. I think Bosnia was sort of the surprise package, I felt, for the World Cup, because I think they got knocked out round of 32 against the US, I think. Qatar, I don't think anyone expected to succeed, let's be honest. And incredibly difficult to beat. Manuel Akanji and Granit Xhaka give them great leadership and tournament know-how. So I think it will be straightforward for them, even without Shaqiri. Then in second place, I've gone with Canada. Okay. They are one of the host nations, so I think the home advantage could help them. And with the likes of Alphonso Davies and Jonathan David, I think more than just Poutine will help them progress into the knockouts. Yeah, I actually think that was a good shout from me, actually. Canada did really well. Went out round of 32. No. They beat South Africa in the round of 32, and then they lost to Morocco in the round of 16. So that means none of the host nations made it past the round of 16. I reckon Canada exceeded expectations, you know. I've gone with Bosnia. They've got quality players and plenty of physicality. Let's not forget that they also beat Italy to get here. Despite this, I don't think they have the squad depth to compete with the top two. Yeah. Then in fourth place, I've gone with Qatar. I think they're technically gifted, but honestly, I don't think very much needs to be said about Qatar. They just weren't very good. I don't think they won a single game, actually. No, they drew their first game and then they lost the other two. Oh yeah, and so that means Group B finished Switzerland, Canada, Bosnia and Qatar. Exactly as I predicted. Come on. C, we have Brazil, Morocco, Scotland and Haiti. Okay. I feel this group is fairly straightforward. Yeah. Brazil should top this group, let's be real. Rafinha, Vinicius Jr., Matheus Cunha and Endrick should give Brazil an already scary attacking threat. I mean, it probably would have if Endrick was actually used by Carlo Ancelotti. Well, that's not true. He was used, just not very much. Or effectively. But I think that was a fair shout from me. Not to mention Igor Thiago, who has scored 22 goals for Brentford this season. And he did absolutely nothing in the World Cup. I want to say I was disappointed by it, but I'm also not surprised, which once again reaffirmed my belief in why Carlo Ancelotti should have selected João Pedro for that role. And there could also be Neymar, if he recovers from yet another injury. And he did. I don't think he did very much either, but yeah. Then Brazil have a strong midfield of Casemiro, Bruno Guimaraes and others. And almost Casemiro showed his age in the World Cup, I'll be honest, and Bruno Guimaraes' only highlight was a stuttered penalty that he missed. Slightly used a centre-back pairing of Gabriel and Marquinhos. So yeah, I think it would be it was a strong centre-back pairing, I will be honest, but I still remember how Gabriel got completely rinsed by Haaland. Shock if Brazil didn't top this group. That is fair enough. I think it probably would have been a shock if Brazil didn't top this group. I don't remember what I put, but I'm pretty sure I expected Brazil to go far. And, well, they didn't go as far as I think everyone expected they would. I'm pretty sure they went out in the last 16 against Norway. But yeah, they topped the group. So far, so good. Look at this group. There is Morocco in this group, who did get to the semi-finals of the last World Cup. This proves they can compete with the best teams, and with the likes of Hakimi and Brahim Diaz, if he isn't on penalties, they may be able to be Brazil's closest competitor. But I don't think they will top the group, so I think they will go second. I mean, you never know. Morocco could top the group and Brazil come second, but Morocco don't have ball boys stealing goalkeepers' towels this time, so I don't see it likely. That's true. I reckon Scotland will finish third. I think they'll be competitive and cause problems, but Brazil and Morocco are simply stronger teams. I think Scotland are an alright team. They're led by Scott McMaradona, but Brazil and Morocco are simply just stronger teams. And then, unfortunately, in last place, I have gone with Haiti. I hope they do have some sort of underdog story, but they're ranked 83rd in the world rankings, so they're one of the lowest teams in the competition. And I think the other teams in that group are just too strong for them. That's fair enough. And it's only just occurred to me that I'm hearing static air in the background of the video, and I think that's from an air conditioner, which ended up giving me a cold, which was fun. Now, if I actually take a quick look at my results, Brazil, Morocco, Scotland, Haiti. I got it right. Oh, I got 2 whole groups right. That's nice. Yeah, Brazil topped it, only on goal difference though. Morocco second, Scotland third, didn't make the knockouts though, and Haiti came bottom with 0 points. And they will be much stronger than them and probably roll them over. Moving on to Group D now, and I think this was a slightly difficult group to decide, so my predictions may be a bit questionable. Or not at all, let me know in the comments. Anyway, I've gone for Turkey to finish top. And I think this is where it just all goes completely downhill. Turkey had an absolute shocker of a World Cup. They came complete bottom, on the contrary to my predictions. But yeah, I honestly thought they would do better. I thought they had a lot of talent. Arda Güler, Artukoglu, all of them. So, yeah, it was low-key surprising. Then I've gone for the USA to finish second. They have a talented squad with Chris Richards, Weston McKennie, and Christian Pulisic.
LeBron James of soccer.
The LeBron James of soccer, who did absolutely nothing, I'll be honest. The USA also, I think, had a decent World Cup, but I think the world wanted them to get knocked out against Belgium in the round of 16 because of the whole red card scandal thing involving Donald Trump basically calling FIFA and asking to have Flo Balogun's red cards revoked. Just don't think they're strong enough to beat Turkey. I reckon Australia will come third.
Yeah.
They're an alright team. They're strong enough to beat Paraguay, who I think will come bottom of the group, but I don't think Australia will be strong enough to beat Turkey. Though I do hope they win or draw against USA. I hoped, and I was very wrong. I was also very wrong about this group as well, because I predicted Turkey, USA, Australia, and Paraguay. What we got instead was USA, Australia, Paraguay, and Turkey. Paraguay actually went through. Turkey came bottom. I was actually impressed with Australia up until the knockouts. They started really well against Turkey, sat back against the USA and lost miserably, and then, well, they knew as long as they didn't lose to Paraguay, they would go through, and so they drew 0-0. So, I think Australia did alright, but the only problem is, now that I think about it, apart from the comprehensive win against Turkey, Australia just basically played a 4-5-1 for every other game that they played in the tournament, and then got knocked out in the first round of knockouts. So, I'd say it's kind of a mixed bag if you're an Australia fan. I thought it had started really well, but then just went completely downhill. And then Turkey's World Cup was just completely dreadful. Paraguay, I think, were also a surprise because I don't think anyone really expected them to do as well as they did. And then they got to the knockouts. They beat Germany in the round of 32. Then they faced France in the round of 16 and decided that playing good, decent football was beneath them and decided to just go all out and be completely dirty. And so they lost and went home after that. But I'd say from a footballing sense, I think Paraguay definitely exceeded expectations. Moving on to Group E now. We have Germany, Ecuador, Cote d'Ivoire, and Curacao. Germany will probably top the group, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I personally think this may be a little bit of a roche out, given Germany has gone out in the group stages in the last two World Cups. And they did top the group, to be fair, but then they lost to Paraguay immediately in the round of 32. So, German football, a lot of questions need to be asked. Actually, not a criminal investigation needs to happen in German football. They have been simply atrocious since they won the World Cup, and that was in 2014. Hopefully, Jurgen Klopp can actually direct them on the right path. But their squad has changed a lot since then, and they now have star players such as Jamal Musiala and Florian Wirtz.
They did alright.
Their attacking options, I think, are a little bit questionable, because they have Kai Havertz and Nick Woltemade, who didn't have a great second half of the season. And Woltemade had a fairly underwhelming World Cup, if you ask me. But Dennis Undav was definitely one of the shining lights in that German team. He was really good when he came off the bench. But Germany are defensively solid, so I think they should be able to top the group fairly easily. I've gone for Ecuador in second. They have quietly become one of South America's most dangerous teams, and they continue producing top talent. They've got Moises Caicedo. Yep, we know they have Caicedo, Kenji Paez, Piero Hincapié, and also William Pacho, which made them have a really good back line, but their reliance on Grandpa and Valencia up front was probably one of their biggest reasons for their undoing. And they did get to the knockouts eventually, but I'm pretty sure they lost to Mexico in the round of 32, which it was disappointing, but I'd also say it was not as bad as people think, given the fact that people thought Ecuador were going to go out in the group stages in the first place. Henry Paez and William Pacho, to name a few players in their squad, but I don't think they will have the glass of Germany. Though I think second place will be close between Ecuador and Cote d'Ivoire. Amad Diallo, Nicolas Pepe and Yan Diomande will no doubt be strong players for this team. They really were. Yan Diomande is linked with a Real Madrid move now. But whether they have the ability to go toe-to-toe with Germany and Ecuador, I don't think so. Cote d'Ivoire I actually think they took it to Germany, if I remember correctly. A quick Google search tells me they lost 2-1. But they won both the other games, so fair enough. They actually did quite well. And then they went out to Norway in the round of 32. That's disappointing. I think they could have gone further if they hadn't got Norway, but it is what it is, I guess. But I hope they prove me wrong. Either way, I put them as third. I think they'll come third. And unfortunately, in last place, I have gone with Curacao. I hope they have... I think everyone was hoping for Curacao to be like the underdogs of the World Cup, but I was proven right in that they did come bottom and they didn't win a single match. And so that means I predicted Group E to finish Germany, Ecuador, Ivory Coast and Curacao. I got 2 out of the 4. Okay, that's not too bad compared to Group D. Germany, Cote d'Ivoire, Ecuador and Curacao is how it finished. I got Cote d'Ivoire and Ecuador the wrong way around. But apart from that, I was right. So 50%, not too bad. In Group F, we have Netherlands, Japan, Tunisia and Sweden. I think this was definitely going to be a close group for everyone except Tunisia. So Netherlands will probably top the group. Again, let's be honest. And they did. Good prediction by me. They have a strong team, though with attacking options of Cody Gakpo, Memphis Depay and Wout Weghorst, it's a little bit questionable. But compared to... That's true, but they didn't do too badly. Actually, no, they lost to Morocco on penalties in the round of 32. I don't really know what to say if you're a Dutch fan, to be honest. You got out of the group stages, but then you almost immediately fucked it because you lost to Morocco. But at the same time, this was also a Morocco team that just got to the World Cup semi-finals 4 years previously, so I'd say it's a mixed bag, but I'm not entirely sure what you'd make of the competition they have in this group. I feel they'll get through the group stage fairly easily. In second, I've gone for Japan. They are a strong team, and they did just beat England at Wembley. That is true, but in England's defence, Thomas Tuchel was trying out new things for the World Cup. Japan did come second, and I thought they had a fairly strong World Cup. Yeah, they drew with Netherlands in the first game. They dismantled Tunisia, and they drew with Sweden. It's not terrible. Sweden and the Netherlands are especially strong sides, but then they lost to Brazil in the round of 32. That was certainly unlucky because I think Japan definitely could have pushed Brazil all the way and actually might have beaten them, but it's unfortunate. Yeah, it's unfortunate. However, they will not have Karim Ntoma, who is out injured, so that could hurt their chances. I don't think it did, to be honest. I reckon Sweden will finish third. They have strong players, including Victor Gyökeres and Alexander Isak, but I have no faith in Graham Potter as a manager, so I don't think they'll go far. I mean, given how well Graham Potter's been since he left Brighton, I feel my lack of faith was kind of well reasoned. But at the same time, he actually did quite well with Sweden. Beat Tunisia 5-1, lost to the Netherlands 5-1, drew with Japan. So what was their goal difference, like 1? Oh, 0. Oh, and then they lost to France in the round of 32. To be fair, this was a France team that many people expected to go all the way and win the whole thing. So, I mean, fair enough that they lost, and it was in the round of 32, which is unfortunate. No one really wants to go home as soon as you get to the knockouts, but I'd say Sweden actually did a fairly good job, to be honest. They could get to the last 32, but it seems unlikely to me. And then I have Tunisia finishing. Well, they did, so props to them. Fourth. Yeah, I didn't have very much to say on Tunisia. They literally finished bottom. I don't think they won a single game, and they sacked 2 managers in that process. So, a tournament to forget if you're Tunisia, to be honest. It's unfortunate, but someone has to come last, and I think it will be Tunisia. They just don't have the quality that the other teams do. Yeah. Moving on to Group G, we have Belgium, Iran, Egypt, and New Zealand. I think Belgium will top the group fairly. Oh wait, I forgot to check. Well, firstly, I did get that right. Belgium did top the group. And secondly, Netherlands, Japan, Sweden, Tunisia. I got Group F completely right. Nice. Okay. Now, what was I saying? Easily. It's not their golden generation, but it was still a strong group. They got all the way to the quarterfinals, then lost out to Spain, who were the eventual champions, to be fair, so props to them. And then completely dismantled the USA, which I think everyone wanted, so fair enough. I'd say it was a good tournament for Belgium. Still a strong squads. Thibaut Courtois and Kevin De Bruyne are the last 2 players in Belgium's golden generation, and I think Belgium probably could have gone further if Courtois hadn't been injured as well, so I think that's also disappointing. Both of them will be strong leaders for this squad. Amadou Onana and Yuri Tielemans will be a strong midfield duo for Belgium. Romelu Lukaku is certainly a questionable choice in attack, given his... I say questionable, but all my doubts were proved wrong when he proved himself to be an extremely reliable goal scorer in this tournament, so props to him. Performance at the Euros. But either way, this is a strong Belgium side that should do well at the World Cup. I think Egypt will finish second in this group. They'll probably be carried by Mo Salah, in my opinion. I don't think they were as much as I thought. I don't know. I didn't really watch many of Egypt's games, but they definitely went farther than I thought they would. Actually, no, yeah. They beat Australia in around the 32 and then lost out to Argentina in the last 16 in very much a game which I reckon was definitely a little suspicious in favour of Argentina, and I think most people would agree with me. I think this was Egypt's first tournament as well, so I think that's a very good job from them. Now, I've gone for New Zealand in third. Oh. This may be an unpopular opinion, but they're the surprise pick for me in this group. I know, and this is where my predictions fall over. I had done so well. I'd got Belgium and Egypt right. Yeah. Then Iran came third, drawing all of their games, and New Zealand lost 2, drew 1, got a point, and went and finished bottom of the group. Oh well. Group H now? Now in Group H, we have Spain, Uruguay, Saudi Arabia, and Cape Verde. I think Spain will comfortably top the group. Yeah. They have a star-studded... I'm pretty sure they did as well. The World Cup champions after all, so I think you'd expect them to comfortably top the group. Yeah, they did. Apart from the surprise draw against Cape Verde, they won every other game. The squad, and will most likely be favourites to win the World Cup. I also won't be surprised if Lamine Yamal is one of the best players in the tournament. I actually feel he had kind of an underwhelming tournament, I feel. He only got a goal when that was against Saudi Arabia. But he was definitely really good in the tournament though, so... The fact he's doing that, and he was 18 and then he turned 19 like the week before the World Cup finals, so... Yeah, mental from him. Pau Kubasi, I mentioned this in my reaction to the World Cup final, and Pau Kubasi I think was also very much an underestimated player. He quietly went about, did his thing, and got Young Player of the Tournament awards, so... Spain are cooking, and I think they will have a dangerous team for years to come, and they properly deserve to win the World Cup. I think Uruguay will come second. They have a strong team, but they probably will be outmatched by Spain. They were definitely outmatched by Spain, and their strong team was not strong at all. To be honest, it says here they drew 2 games and then they lost the last one. So that means they had drawn to Cape Verde and drawn to Saudi Arabia and then lost to Spain. Yeah, it was not a good tournament for Uruguay, and then Marcelo Bielsa resigned at the end, so not great. Yes. Anyway, I think Saudi Arabia will finish third, and that's really only because Cape Verde will probably finish last, unfortunately. Wow, I really underestimated Cape Verde. I mean, to be fair, I think most people did. As I don't think anyone really expected how well Vozinho would be in the first game against Spain. And I just think everyone underestimated Cape Verde in general and were really amazed as how well they did and how far they went. As they got to I think it was the round of 32 where they lost after extra time against Argentina, which was a shame, but I think everyone was still how proud of they did because no one expected them to go that far. Now we move on to Group I for Iraq, who will probably finish fourth in this group. Frankly, they just don't have the quality of the other teams in this group. I mean, this team was very much the group of death, as, France, Norway, Senegal and Iraq finished bottom, losing all their games. So, it was a tough tournament for Iraq, and I'd say it was unsurprising that they finished bottom. This group is quite literally the group of death. France, Senegal, Norway and Iraq. France are also one of the favourites to win the World Cup. They have a completely stacked lineup of Mbappe, who was Real Madrid Player of the Season and La Liga top goal scorer, Bundesliga Player of the Season Michael Olise, and Ballon d'Or winner Ousmane Dembele, and also Desiree. And then there was also Doué. Basically, I'm just reinforcing my point that France were very much the team expected to win the World Cup. And the fact that they got to the semi-finals and then just played dismally against Spain was very much a shock. And then they lost the third place final to England. So I would say, especially because it was Deschamps' last tournament, it started so well and then it just completely fell off at the end, which I think was a shame. I reckon Senegal will most likely come second. They are the AFCON champions after all, and they are using virtually the same squad. So I think they will be strong contenders, but won't be able to beat France. I was right in that sense. France played Senegal in the first game, and France completely destroyed them, courtesy of Kylian Mbappe. Senegal, I don't think, had too bad a tournament. I thought they would go further, but then they lost to Belgium in the last 32. I actually thought they would beat Belgium, and they were on track for doing so before conceding 3 goals in like the last 10 minutes of the whole game. So it was amazing to see and shocking. But that means I also put Norway third, which means I again got the group completely wrong. Actually, no, I got third and fourth mixed up again. But yeah, that also meant I completely underestimated Haaland. I'm pretty sure I'm convinced it's going to get carried by the likes of Haaland, Sorloth, Martin Odegaard. But the entire team put in a shift. And I think we'll get to that in a bit. I'm honestly unsure if anyone will be able to beat France in this World Cup, given how stacked this squad is. And the teams that did were Spain and England, so nice. I reckon Norway will probably finish third. They have a great attacking lineup, including Erling Haaland, Jorgen Strand Larsen and Alexander Sorloth. See, there you go. And then there was also Antonio Nusa, who's spent this season at RB Leipzig. Attacking-wise, they were insane, and Haaland did Haaland things, so yeah. But I feel this is really their only strength, their attack. Though if you disagree with me, prove me wrong in the comments. I can prove myself wrong here, because Norway made it all the way to the World Cup quarterfinals before being knocked out by England, and England only managed to win the game in it was in extra time, yeah it was. I had to think about it for a second, because I remember I fell asleep halfway during that game. But I think Norway went further than I definitely expected them to. I don't know if people thought the same, but it was very surprising to see. And also very good, especially given I think it was their first World Cup in 80 years or something. And so that also means now that, I only got 2 out of the 4 of them right, because Norway came second, Senegal came third. It's still good though. And I think we will also always forever remember Norway's. Ooh, it's so fun. And as I said before, Iraq will probably finish 4th. Group J is probably also a very straightforward group.
Yeah,
Argentina will probably top the group.
And they did.
They are reigning world champions after all.
The reigning world champions. This is where I feel it does get a little bit suspicious looking at FIFA, because Austria, Algeria and Jordan, none of them are very good teams. Austria's alright, but they were never expected to go very far. And yeah, that basically means Argentina never faced a really strong team until England in the semi-finals. So they had a very easy run, if you ask me. And so it probably would have been shocking if they hadn't topped the group.
Austria is also a very strong side.
I mean, they're alright.
Ralf Rangnick has transformed them into one of Europe's most entertaining sides to watch.
I mean, I guess David Alaba, Marcel Sabitzer. Those are the only two I can think of off the top of my head, but they're probably definitely their strongest players when Alaba remains fit.
Algeria will probably finish thirds. I reckon Riyad Mahrez and Ryan Nouri should carry that team.
I feel they did.
And they're only really third because it seems highly unlikely to me that Jordan will get very far. But I hope I get proven.
And they did not. I was proven right. Because for that group finished Argentina, Austria, Algeria and Jordan. Exactly as I predicted. Cool, and I got another group right. So how many have I got right now? I got Group B, Group C. Yeah, it was Group B, Group C, Group F, and now Group J. I got 4 completely correct, and that's more than I thought it would, so fair enough.
Now, moving on to Group K. It is highly likely to me that Portugal will top the group.
And I think it's really surprising, but they didn't. Colombia did, and I think they only topped the group on goal difference. No, actually. They won 2 games, Portugal won 1, and they drew the other 2. Damn. So, yeah, they drew to Colombia and they drew to Congo. I don't think many people realise that, and I think that's mainly because they underestimated Colombia and they very much overestimated Portugal. I'm pretty sure I wanted Portugal to win the whole thing just so then Ronaldo has his perfect send-off and finally has the World Cup that he's been dreaming of. But I was completely neglecting the fact that Roberto Martinez has been known for completely fucking up any golden generation. And the golden midfield that I thought would dominate the World Cup of Vitinha, João Neves and Bruno Fernandes did absolutely niche. And then I feel Portugal only really went out because of that over-reliance on Cristiano Ronaldo against Spain. Like, the only reason they went through against Croatia, after all, was because Ronaldo was subbed off. They brought on Gonçalo Ramos, and he was the one who scored the winner. So maybe if they'd actually brought on Gonçalo Ramos, things might have turned out differently for them.
Moving on to the rest of the group, I think Colombia will come second. Luis Diaz and John Duran will give them real attacking quality. Then I think the DR Congo will come third. They have some strong players in their squad. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Axel Tuanzebe.
It was a decent squad, don't get me wrong. And I think... Did they get very far? I don't think they got... No, they played England in the last 32 and then they went out because of a Harry Kane brace. But I think they definitely went further than I thought they would. And Uzbekistan, I feel like that team was only really carried by Kusanov. Which makes sense because I'm pretty sure he is also their best player. He's their captain and he plays for Manchester City. And the rest of that team is also fairly unheard of. So, yeah, I don't think people expect them to do very well. And so that means that, I said it before but I'll say it again. I got 2 out of 4 right again, annoyingly. Because, yeah, Colombia topped the group, not Portugal. But oh well. Now, Group L.
And finally, in Group L, I think this may also be a close group, but England will still win the group.
And that they did. Did they come home? Yes. Just with bronze medals instead of gold. But I think you can still be proud of what Thomas Tuchel did manage to do. he got England's... Well, they topped the group. He got them all the way to semi-finals, where some stupid tactics from Thomas Tuchel was probably the reason why Argentina were able to go through, because we were very much the stronger team, but as soon as we scored, England did the England thing and just sat back and defended. And yeah, that allowed Argentina to actually get on the front foot and actually come back and win 2-1 to progress them to the finals. And I think it's safe to say, especially after seeing how England dismantled France, granted they had given up, but if they had actually kept going against Argentina and not just sat back, they probably could have made it 2 goals and then actually just put the game to bed and got to the finals. So, another 4 years of waiting for the World Cup to return home. I'd say, like France, it started really well, was so good, and then sort of just kind of dipped. Got disappointing Argentina, but then they bounced back against France and got bronze medals. So, yeah, it was good. Most likely Croatia will finish second. Granted, their golden generation is basically over. One can never write Croatia off at a major tournament. They got silver medals in Russia, bronze in Qatar, and led by Luka Modric. That is true, and they did that, but I think they didn't go as far as anyone expected they would, but I think that was because they ended up meeting Portugal in the round of 32 to their misfortune. So, yeah, it was disappointing. I only just realised you cannot see me. Oh, that's so annoying. Oh well. They will be a strong team. Then I think Ghana will finish third. They somehow managed to qualify for the World Cup and not for AFCON. Yeah, that was weird. And granted, Antoine Semenyo and Iñaki Williams have been very good players. I am not sure as to how well a team can do with Abdel Fattah and Jordan Ayew in their squad. That is also very true, because Jordan Ayew did absolutely nothing. I'm pretty sure he was their main striker and he didn't get a single shot off the entire tournament. And then regarding Ghana, yeah, they lost to Colombia in the round of 32 after making it out. So, I feel that was kind of expected and also not very good. But, oh well. Before I go on to the third place playoffs, because I know that's what I'm about to say. England, Croatia, Ghana, Panama. I got Group L completely right. Get in. So. Oh, okay. I went for DR Congo. Shouldn't have gone for New Zealand. Shouldn't have gone for Scotland. Should have instead gone for Bosnia and Ghana. And then I would have had it perfectly right. I got 6 out of 8 in the third place finishers. That went through to knockout. So, it's not terrible. Now we get to the round of 32. Yeah, DR Congo. I don't have much hope in Ghana in this tournament. I don't know if anyone did. Right, round of 32. I'm amazed how some of these turned out. Oh, I took away Google. Mexico and Canada didn't happen. Germany and Australia didn't happen. Netherlands and Morocco did happen. Brazil and Japan happened. France and Sweden happened. England, DR Congo happened. South Korea and Scotland definitely didn't happen. Neither went through. Ecuador and Senegal didn't happen. With Mexico and Canada. I've just looked. Turns out it was South Africa and Canada first. So it's basically an American derby. The host nations. Oh, I should say that. American derby. They're just not America. They're in North America, but no. Okay. Wow. That is difficult. I'm going to come back to that one, I don't know. Germany will probably beat Australia, I'll be honest. Well, interestingly, Australia, I was sort of half right, in the sense that Australia did go out in the round of 32. Only problem is, it was against Egypt, and Germany also went out in the round of 32, but against Paraguay. So, Netherlands, Morocco. I think Morocco will have too much class. I was right! Nice. I'm sorry, but you can't go far in the World Cup if you're starting Wout Weghorst and Cody Gakpo. I mean, that's fair enough, but Cody Gakpo did score in that game. And I'm pretty sure they lost on penalties, so it was close. Brazil, Japan. Both really strong teams. Didn't Japan knock out Brazil one year? No, I think Belgium. Maybe, I don't know. I think Belgium. France will beat Sweden. Yeah, I was right there.
South Korea will beat Scotland. England will beat DR Congo.
Yeah, we almost didn't though, so it was close. South Korea, Scotland, well, that just didn't happen. Let's keep going.
Switzerland will beat New Zealand. Argentina will beat Uruguay.
That did happen. Okay, okay. New Zealand didn't get through, Uruguay didn't get through. Argentina played Cape Verde instead, and they still won. Whereas Switzerland played... Oh, Algeria. Wasn't Algeria in the third place teams? Oops. Either way, Switzerland still won.
USA will beat Egypt. Spain will beat Austria.
Oh, okay, so USA and Egypt are back there. Spain and Austria did happen, and Spain still won, so I got that right as well. Okay. The USA played Bosnia. I don't think I put Bosnia through, so that's why they're not on here. Portugal didn't play Norway, they played Croatia. And Colombia played Ghana. Okay. Let me just keep going. Basically, I got Spain and Austria right, so that's the good bit. Yeah, USA and Egypt. That didn't happen, but both teams went to
Now, this is where it gets tough. Oh, Belgium will beat South Africa.
Belgium played Senegal instead, I remember this, and they barely got through. It was a good comeback from them, though.
I think Croatia will have too much class for Colombia.
Oh, that's very wrong. It was the other way around, but in very completely different senses. Because Colombia did get through, they went on to play Switzerland. And Croatia went out in the round of 32 after losing to Portugal.
Portugal have too much class for Norway.
Oh, okay. This is going to make for some very interesting later knockout games, because again, both Portugal and Norway went through to the round 16. Portugal got through to the quarterfinals actually, so this will be interesting.
I think Japan are a strong team, but they're really carried by Mitoma, so I think
I got it right, but my reasoning was complete shit. I mean, to be fair, Japan went 1-0 up here in that game. So it was close and Brazil had to come back to win. And I mentioned it in the group stages, but they actually could have gone all the way in terms of playing against Brazil, not all the way to the World Cup final. They pushed Brazil to the end, but unfortunately Brazil actually managed to win.
I think Brazil will beat them. I'm still stuck on the Mexico-Canada. I think it will be Mexico, actually.
Well, in this sense, fair enough, because Mexico went through, but in actuality, both Mexico and Canada went through to the round 16.
I'm going to throw out a wild one there. Then I think Ecuador will beat Senegal.
Well, both of those teams went home in real life after the round of 32, so we'll see what this means for round of 16, but I was wrong.
And Turkey will beat the Ivory Coast.
Again, I think both of those teams... Turkey went out in the group stages, so that's wrong. And Ivory Coast lost to Norway. So, yeah, neither of those teams... Well, Ivory Coast didn't get past round of 32 and Turkey didn't even get there.
I'm knocking in with that. Why not? So then we have a round of 60. Oh, God.
Yeah, I think I've just seen the fixtures. Germany, France, Mexico, Morocco, Brazil, Ecuador, South Korea, England, Switzerland, Portugal, Argentina, USA, Turkey, Belgium, Spain and Croatia. None of these are right. For fuck's sake. How did I get all of these matches incorrect? And so now for the quarterfinals, I said, because of my predictions, France will play Morocco, Spain will play Belgium, Brazil will play England, and Argentina will play Portugal. I think everyone wanted that Messi-Ronaldo game at some point for the national teams. But this makes the decision-making so much harder for me.
What have I done? Whoa. That is a crazy quarterfinals. Now, we will have France will beat Morocco again. Spain will beat
Yes!
Belgium.
I got one hole in the quarterfinals right
Portugal
for
will
the
beat
semis.
Argentina.
No! I'm a fucking idiot! No! How did I say that? No! Why? Why did I say that? Why did I say Portugal would beat Argentina? Portugal didn't even get to the quarterfinals. Why? Okay, I've composed myself. Sorry. It's Messi v Ronaldo, and I think Ronaldo will come on top because... Well, given Ronaldo didn't even get that far, that didn't happen. Then Brazil, England. Oh, that's so difficult. I mean, Brazil didn't even get this far, but if they had, it probably would have been a very close game. I mean, it still was, even with Norway, but... Just because Brazil have decided to include Gabriel Martinelli, I'm pulling the bias card. England, fuck it, I don't... Yeah, my reasoning's complete and total bullshit, but yes! That means I got 3 out of the 4 semi-finalists right. If I'd said Argentina over Portugal, I would have got the semi-finals completely right. That would have been sick. Yeah. That's what happens when you choose Gabriel Martinelli to go to a World Cup. Also kind of true though, he was useless. But then here's actually, where it gets difficult. No, he wasn't. He scored the winner against Japan, so he was merely useless. He was slightly useless. France and Spain in the... It's basically a rematch of the Nations League. Then it's weird how often France and Spain meet each other, because they met in the Nations League semi-finals last year, then they met in the Euro semi-finals the year before that. Both times Spain came out on top, so if you listen to that pattern, plus Spain played with very, very similar squads both times, so, and they had a very similar squad this time as well, so if you use that pattern, it would make sense that Spain would come out on top. But at the same time, looking back on it, I thought France would probably win the whole thing given how strong they were. But then France just decided to play completely dismally for that game. So maybe they were all drunk on champagne or something because it was Bastille Day. I don't know. Either way, let's see what happens. It's basically a rematch of the Nations League. Then England, Portugal. England go out here. I think it'll be Portugal. I'm 50-50 on this. I'm happy that I got it right that England would go out here. The only problem is I said it would be against Portugal. Jesus. Oh God. No matter how... If I choose Spain, it'll basically be a rematch of the Nations League. So that's if I choose France... So that's what you should do. Here's what I think. I think England definitely would have... I think England would have beaten Brazil on penalties, only just. They probably would have gone out to Portugal in probably about 90 minutes. Would have been about 2-1, 2-0 to Portugal. This could have been so aura for me if this had actually happened. But it didn't, so I sound so dumb. I don't know what I say here. Where I reckon Spain would win. Yes! Oh, I'm so smart. And then it'll be a rematch in the Nations League final where Portugal would win again. No! What have I done? I was this close to getting it completely right. Kind of. Oh my God, I'm so dumb. They didn't even get this far. Why have I said Portugal? Oh, it's because Ronaldo in it. But why? I had done so well. I had said even Spain would beat France. Oh, that's so annoying. Fucking hell. Well, I'd say I did fairly well on that. I said England would get to the semi-finals, Spain would get to the finals. I got the winner completely wrong, but... oh well. There you go. Those are my World Cup predictions, and I think it is safe to say some of those aged better than others. But that's it for this video. I'm curious to know how long this will turn out to be, because it's been going for over an hour. But if you have stayed this long, which I very highly doubt, thank you all very much for watching, and please be sure to like and subscribe if you have got this far and you deserve a reward. And that is coming very soon, because I have a video coming very soon that you definitely won't want to miss. So I'll see you all there.